Hello everyone, welcome to the channel of Algocamp. So now on this particular channel, we are actually releasing a series on data structures and algorithms where we are going to talk about some of the most important data structures and algorithmic topics which are extremely important for your upcoming software engineering interviews. Apart from that, these are some of the I would say topics that are very helpful in your day-to-day engineering job as well. We have already released a couple of series around searching, right? And we got a really good response on that. And from here, we are going to put really some awesome content around DSA. In most of these lectures, we will try to ensure that we focus on the intuition building aspect of the things, that how you are able to think about something, what are some of the things that people actually neglect but are going to clear some of the really important fundamentals. We are going to see coding implementation, but trust me, my focus is not going to be on the language delivery aspect of the things, that okay, you have to code this in C++ or Java. A lot of problems we have coded in multiple languages. Maybe some of the problems will be in C++, some will be only in JavaScript. I believe if you are somebody who is preparing for an interview, language in 2025 should not be a constraint, because most of the people can actually use ChatGPT to do language conversions. So my motive here is to make sure that you understand the concept in depth. You actually see how exactly somebody might have thought about the problem when they were carving out the problem, what can be some initial thought process, how you can actually drive yourself towards the solution. I believe these are going to be some really important videos that will be really helpful for your upcoming career. So do let us know what is your feedback. We are going to release a lot of more topics. Do let us know what all topics you want to have first, right? And the feedback is going to be important. Also, in case you are actually thinking to level up, you want to learn things with respect to low-level design, high-level design, overall system design for interviews, or you are somebody who wants to do project development in Spring Boot, you want to learn advanced Spring Boot concepts, or let's say advanced Node.js concepts, then we have a lot of courses, live courses running on algocamp.io. So you can check out the website courses.algocamp.io/learn, and there are a lot of courses that are actually listed. A lot of great discounts are actually going on all the courses as well. Do check them out. For each and every single course, we are going to add you to a dedicated Discord community where you can get your doubts resolved as well. All of the courses, we have made sure that we talk about things from the very beginner to the very advanced level that is going to help you level up in your career as a software engineer. So that being said, let's start the video without any further delay.
So this is a new question coming in front of us. What the question says that you have been given a number X, you'll be given a number X, and you need to actually calculate the count of number of binary strings of length X. So you have to calculate number of binary strings. You don't have to calculate the actual binary string. You just have to do the counting, that how many binary strings are there who have got a length X. So their length should be X, and which has no consecutive ones. It should not have any consecutive one. No consecutive ones. For example, if n is equals to 3, you need to find the number of 3 length binary string without consecutive ones. So the answer will be 5. Why 5? Because one string of length 3, which is a binary string without consecutive ones, is 101. Then another of length 3 is 001, 000, 010, 100. Right? So you can actually see that there will be a bunch of binary representation that won't be having any consecutive ones, and that's what you have to actually count.
So before we start this particular video, I wanted to actually talk about a very small thing. So this video is going to actually help you understand a real system design interview scenario. We are going to try to mimic a 45 to 60 minute kind of like a round where we are going to solve a problem very similar to how you will solve a similar system design problem in this short time frame. Now, of course, when you work as a software engineer in a company, you have relatively larger amount of time and you can do a lot of more deep dives in even very small level features. But in an interview, the temperament is different, the approach is different, and a similar scenario is actually explained in this particular video. So do consume the content based on that. Also, if you want to see more deep dives and want to understand these topics in a much more deeper level concepts, then do check out the link in the description section below for our System Design 2.0 cohort, where we have talked about a lot more concepts in a lot more detail, which will make you definitely a better software engineer. So let's just start the video.
Now, before I actually start solving this question in front of you, one tip of problem solving I would like to give you is, whenever you get a data structures or algorithmic question in front of you, Don't just start directly solving the question. It would be really great if you can, which in most of the cases you actually can, try to form a bunch of more test cases. That what will happen if the value will be this, what will happen if the value will be this. Try 3-4 scenarios always. How and why? How is, you have to actually think what will be the variations in the input, and then you can generate them. Why? Because it helps you in two things. First, it will help you to understand in the initial 5 minutes only, are there any corner cases? If let's say in the initial 5 minutes only you are thinking about more test cases and you found a corner case, that would be helpful. Second, by looking at a lot of times in a lot of questions, by looking at test cases, you can find kind of like a mathematical pattern somewhere, that okay, for this test case if the answer is this, then this test case the answer is this, they are somehow related. So the test case answers might be even related, so it can help you in that as well. So always try to make sure that whenever you get a problem to solve, always and always try to first of all think about a bunch of more test cases. This is the actual hint for this question also. I want to give you this as a hint as well in this question. Let's form a bunch of test cases here. So what will be the answer for n equal to 1? That how many binary strings of length 1 can be there without consecutive ones? Can I say the answer will be 2? How? 0, 1. This is also a binary string of length 1. This is also a binary string of length 1. They don't have any consecutive 1. For n equals to 2, you can have 0, 0 and 0, 1 and 1, 0. So there are 3 possibilities. For n equal to 3, we already know the answer is 5. For n equal to 4, the answer will be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. Right. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 possibilities. And to be very honest, I can write n equal to 5 as well without even thinking. It will be equal to 13. And can you see there is a direct pattern? It's a Fibonacci series. It's a Fibonacci series. The only difference is that this Fibonacci series, this series starts with 2 and 3. If you remember, your original Fibonacci series starts with 0 and 1. Here it starts with 2 and 3. There is no n equal to 0, right? The input will be always from 1. That at least you have to find one length string. So your base case will be n equal to 1 and n equal to 2. Your base case will be if n is equals to 1, return 2. If n is equals to 2, return 3. This is going to be our base case. And then you can just say return f of n minus 1 plus f of n minus 2. If you have to implement the function f of n. That's it. So you have to just implement Fibonacci series. You have to just implement Fibonacci series. And that's it. And how did I get it? How did I get it? The question asked that you will be given some number x, or you can even take n, for example, just a variable, right? You'll be given some number n and you have to calculate the count. Count means you have to do the counting. You don't have to actually generate it. You have to just count of number of binary strings. Binary strings means only those kind of strings which have either a 0 or 1, right? Of length n, right? So you have to count the number of binary strings of length n which has no consecutive 1. That means there should not be any consecutive 1. So just think about it. If the value of n was given as 1, how many strings are there with no consecutive 1? There are 2 strings with no consecutive 1s. For n equal to 2, you can generate the answer. There are 3 strings with no consecutive 1. For n equal to 3, I already gave you the answer. N equal to 3 is 5. For n equal to 4 also, you can generate. There are 8 strings with no consecutive 1s. And so on, right? So you can see there is a direct pattern of Fibonacci here. So you have to just implement Fibonacci numbers. The only difference this problem has with Fibonacci numbers is that the seed values or the base case is different. In normal Fibonacci number, base case is 0 and 1. Here the base case values are 2 and 3. So you have to just modify the base case and the problem is solved. So every time, as I said, these are some things that I want to teach you throughout this problem solving journey, that how to tackle a problem when you see that. Try to form some bunch of test cases. You're not in an interview, right? If you're not in an interview, then there is no rush. Give the problem its required time. Understanding a bunch of test cases won't harm you. And sometimes the test cases can show you some patterns. If you have done enough test cases, then you will realize if there is a pattern or not. And if there is a direct pattern, then you don't have to bang your head on the wall and you can just directly solve it. Although the same question I will solve later when I will make some changes to the question, and instead of counting the number of binary string, I will ask you to generate the binary strings. Then also you will realize how it is related to Fibonacci. But till that time, I believe this is a fair ask.